And suddenly, the cook is on fire.
I've been working way too hard for this shit.
And suddenly, and suddenly, and suddenly, and suddenly, the cook is on fire.
I've been working way too hard for this shit.
The cook is on fire. The cook is on fire. And suddenly, the cook is on fire.
I've been working way too hard for this shit. I've been working way too hard for this shit.
The cook is on fire. 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 The cook is on fire.
I've been working way too hard for this shit.
Hello and good morning. Thank you for coming to the show. And right now I don't have anybody, but that's okay. I'm sure I'll get a few stragglers coming in. It's early in the morning. It's good to see everybody. Let's see. Oh, I have been really tired. Today, Fred, is his last day of school for this week. I got a lot going on, so, oh, there's my live right there. I couldn't find it. And people were telling me that they're not getting notifications. That's why I have my chats, my other chats, because of that reason. My chats aren't to gossip or to chat. They're for, hey, thanks for coming in. Therefore, letting people know when I go live, because YouTube doesn't let people know so anymore. I don't know what's up with that. Or people probably haven't rang the bell. I think that's what it is too. It's like they don't ring the bell, so they don't get the notification. I don't know. I have no idea. Sorry. I'm sharing myself out so people know that I'm live. Not that it makes a huge difference. And there we go. Oh, I had one person come in here and then they left. That's funny. Yep. I'm sorry. I'm getting people that are commenting on my videos, but not at my live. All right. So I got a lot to do today, and I was only going to go live for like an hour. And I know it's early in the morning, so. Okay, so I do have a lot to do today, and including I harvested some tomatoes yesterday, and so I have to core those. I'm going to freeze them. And then I have some green beans I need to pick again. And then more and more stuff. Just crazy garden stuff this time of year. And I'm going to try and see if I can get anybody else in here. But I don't know. See if I can get Marshmallow Man in here. Okay, so this is funny. Hey, Shawnee Shab, thanks for coming in. Now, I don't think Melon is telling me who I have in here because, oh, you're in the kitchen. Awesome. Because it totally told me that I had 0 people in here, and I don't know. Maybe it's just taken a second for it to catch up. Anyway, I don't know if you guys have seen this in your gardens, but it's a hot topic this year because people have no idea what it is. And hold on one second. Let me get my share up here. All right. Let me share my screen. Hello, the other 2 people that aren't talking. All right. That's what I want to share right there. Okay. A lot of people are talking about this moth right here. This is a Sphinx moth right here. And people are seeing it in their gardens and they're like, I've seen so many people like, what is this? What is this thing? What is this? It's a moth, dude. It's a moth. I think people are just freaking out over nothing. And my gardener just posted a thing of it as well. And so it kind of got me thinking, like, it's a moth, man. It's a moth. Oh. Thanks for the thumbs up, y'all. I appreciate it. But yeah, so that's a Sphinx moth. So if anybody sees it, they know what it is. I don't really know if it's dangerous. It says beautiful but dangerous. I wonder what's dangerous about it. See, that's not what I've seen. This is different. This is not a Sphinx. That's a hummingbird moth or something. While I'm on the subject of moths, I one time, it was a long time ago, but it freaked me the hell out. Let me see if I can. I was in my parents' garage. And I saw this thing, and it freaked me the hell out. Have you guys ever seen one of these? Morning, Rumble. Thanks for coming in. And here is my link if you want to come up. If you don't, that's okay too. I don't really care. But I thought this was funny. Like, I went to... Okay, that's on that person's hand, but the moth that I saw was absolutely humongous. And I hate that it only shows me like half. Oh, here's a National Geographic thing. I'd rather read that. But yeah, they're just freaking huge. And I saw one time and I was like, what? Oh, and that's cool. They're only located in this part of the United States. Very interesting. Hey, Kathy Bates. How you doing? Thanks for coming in, guys. I know it's Thursday morning and I'm barely awake, so I get it. So, yeah, I thought that was really cool. I saw one of those one time, just one time. Apparently, the moonflower attracts them as well. I had a moonflower last year, and for some reason, it died. I don't know why it died, but it did. I don't know. Okay, I had a moonflower. I thought they were supposed to come back every year, and it died. It died, and it shedded its seeds. I know it did, but I don't know. It's weird. So, okay. I've been talking about reading this book, Sleeping with the Sunflower. And it's actually a really good book because I've been reading some of it. I haven't really had a chance to read the entire book because I've been really busy. And I thought this was really funny. So I got this book used off of Amazon. I think I paid I don't know how much I paid for this book. I know Gil gave me a $5 Amazon gift card. And oh yeah, he gave me a $5 Amazon gift card. And I bought this book, I think, for $3 or something, and paid for shipping. And it was all under $5. So, but yeah, so I've been reading a little bit what's in this book. It's very, very interesting. And there's some recipes in it. And it talks about herbs and seasonings and all different kinds of cool stuff. Yes, it is. It's the book that Howie recommended. And when I first got this book, I thought it was really funny because it is used. That's why I got it for so cheap. But inside, it has somebody's address. Sunflower Farm and sunflowerfarmfestival.com in it. I thought that was kind of funny. It's cool to get books like that, like that have a little bit of something. But it's supposed to be it's like a farmer's almanac. It talks about the 12 months of old time gardening and wisdom, apparently. So it will talk about that. And it talks about seeds and buying supplies for gardening and also the astrological guide. And I was in a chat, I think, on Facebook, and it surprises me how many people don't know about the astrological guides of planting or have heard about it at least, because somebody was talking about how they wanted to know when to plant something by the moon, and the way they worded it, people were like poking fun at them by the way that they worded it. And I'm thinking, no, I'm like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Like, all you have to do is look into the Farmer's Almanac, and in the Farmer's Almanac, they have the astrological guides of when to plant stuff. No, I don't see your name in here, Kathy Bates. You're so funny. You're not that old. You're funny. But yeah, no, Kathy, I really appreciate you. Like, I knew you were into farming. I knew you did a little bit of it, but I had no idea. And then so you helped me out the other day, and I really appreciate it. She helped me with my French beaner. When I was a kid, on the almanac was the Farmer's Bible. Yep. Hey, Huga. Hey, if anybody wants to come up, they can. The link is in the chat. It'd be nice to have some new faces up here. That'd be great. Come on up and hang out. Here is my link. It is Turdsday. So if you have anything you want to share that was extra turdy, let me know. I could like give people a whole list of turds. But yeah, so I don't know. I think astrologically, there's a fine line with people in religion, so they don't plant things astrologically anymore. Because people don't follow the zodiac signs anymore and stuff like that. They think it's blasphemy or something. So they don't follow that. So people consider it an old guide, but it makes sense. And that's the same thing like with onions and stuff. Like if you follow the astrological guide for onions, you know, you're supposed to fertilize for so many times a week up until June 21st, which is the summer solstice. And then after that, you're supposed to do, you know, so there's different things with onions as well. And in this book, it talks about what you're supposed to do for your planting crops and stuff like that. It makes sense because the moon does affect us astrologically. I mean, think about it. Like, we have tides and stuff. So, and our body is made up of water. So the moon does affect us. Oh, you were raised on a farm. That's awesome. Thank you guys for coming in. And if you want to come up, you can. Fishing and the moon, big connection. Oh yeah, completely. Completely. By the way, I've been fishing at night. It's like my favorite thing to do is go fishing at night. And I seem to have caught a lot of fish at night for some reason. I caught a channel cat and stuff like that. Cool fish. Okay, so by moon signs in this book, it says the moon in Aries, you harvest, weed, or cultivate. Taurus is a feminine sign, so it's good for sturdy growth. A Gemini is good sign to harvest and chop weed. Cancer, watery, a fruitful sign, good for planting or transplanting. Leo is fiery, barren, and dry, but good for harvesting. Virgo, rather dry, but earth sign, good for planting vines, produces many blossoms, but little fruit. Libra is a lovely sign for flowers, airy and moist. I hate to use that word, moist. That's like horrible. That's why I try to avoid it in the other ones. Scorpio is good for planting sign, for seeds and nursery stock. Sagittarius is a good sign for weeding and cultivating. Capricorn is earthy, moist, feminine, a good second best sign. Aquarius is a masculine, airy, barren, dry, good for cultivation. And Pisces is good for both planting, irrigation, and it's a very fruitful sign. And it says the moon moves through your sign differently for each person. And the moon will appear at least once a month for 2 to 3 days. Each is useful for some specific gardening practices. You will need to refer to an annual almanac as previously explained. So yeah, because obviously the earth and, you know, just like the calendar moves, you will need to follow an almanac so you can be up to date with everything or know when the moon is going to be and stuff like that. It's just interesting. And okay, so I don't know what to do. I really want to do this, but I'm kind of embarrassed to do it. Yeah, moist. I hate that word. Anybody else has a word? There's just something about moist. And if I say it goofy because it makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, I just don't like that word. It's just like, oh, I'm moist. Like, doesn't make any sense. I need a date. LOL. I'll have to get the almanac. Yeah. Or you don't have to get the almanac. You can just look it up online. Yeah. You can just look it up online, Johnny Chav. You don't need the almanac to do that. So yeah, it talks about moon phases and stuff like that in here. And it's funny how it talks about old-fashioned vegetables, because on my way to dropping off my son at school, I've been seeing what I thought some of it was. I thought it was Black-Eyed Susans, some of it, but then I really got to looking at it from, well, I'm looking at it as I'm driving, so it's not like I'm examining it or something. Hey, MT Homestead. Oh my gosh. Good morning. Thank you for coming in. It's so good to see y'all. Here is a link if you guys want to come up. I'd love to have some perspective on this. I'm talking about, like, well, I'm referring to this book. It's called Sleeping with the Sunflower, and it talks about old-time gardening lore. But is it lore? I don't think it's lore. A lot of people use like things like the Farmer's Almanac. And I know one year the Stivers talked about using the Farmer's Almanac and the moon phases to plant certain things. So in this book, it talks about Jerusalem artichokes. So as I was driving down the road, I'm 99% sure there was like a giant field. What looked to be like wildflowers, but they were Jerusalem artichokes for sure. So I was kind of embarrassed, but I want to go up there because it's like literally at the end of my road, but I don't want people to see me. Maybe I'll go up there at night and dig up some Jerusalem artichokes. By the way, you know how old Jerusalem artichokes really are? They've been around and they were domesticated in Massachusetts in the 1600s. That's how long Jerusalem artichokes have been around. Has anybody ever ate them? I'm curious because I did have somebody post, because I posted that I saw the Jerusalem artichokes on Facebook, and somebody's like, oh, you can use them as a substitute for potatoes if you can't have potatoes. And apparently they have a ton of potassium in them. So I was just curious, and I was told by multiple people, and what I've seen on YouTube as well, is that they grow like tremendously. Like you get a ton of them. And so if you plant them somewhere, make sure it's at a place that you can just let them go wild, because they will just take over. I was also told that they will give you a ton of gas if you don't cook them correctly. So I'm just curious about it, and curious about what they tasted like. Has anybody ever had them? Rabbits love them. Okay, well then maybe I shouldn't plant them in my food forest, because I really don't want to have a ton of rabbits. But you know what? I haven't seen, around here, we don't have rabbits. I have never seen one since I moved here. And so thank you, MT Homestead, for coming in. I appreciate you guys. But I've never seen one. Oh, this is very interesting as well. It says it's the cousin of the sunflower. Wait. Okay, yeah. It says the cousin of the sunflower, which I'm curious now, because I thought that those flowers that are on top of the Jerusalem artichoke was a sunflower. And in fact, at one point, I thought they were called Maximilian sunflowers because they were like real small. But this is interesting. It says the cousin of the sunflower is not an artichoke. Obviously, it's not an artichoke. It says, however, nor does it come from Jerusalem. Jerusalem is actually a corruption of the Italian meaning turning to the sun, just like a sunflower does. So that makes sense if they're part of the sunflower, because if you plant a sunflower, it rotates with the sun. I think that's really interesting. Has anybody out there ever eaten one? Now I'm curious. There's a ton of what they call old-fashioned plants in here. And I don't really consider them old-fashioned, but apparently they are. Kale, they said, is an old-fashioned one, and it was mentioned growing in Virginia in 1669. So that's pretty interesting. And then it says dandelions is old-fashioned as well. It also talks about chickweed, and that's really funny that it talks about chickweed because I pull ton and ton of chickweed out of my garden all the time. It says it's annual, it lasts through the winter, seldom lacks flowers and seeds. It even is established in the Arctic Circle. That's great. So I'm never getting rid of my chickweed. Apparently you can put it on a sandwich. It says to add a little lemon juice to it, a little salt and pepper, Worcestershire sauce. And you can put it on bread with tomato. And they said it kind of tastes like spinach. Have you guys ever had chickweed? I have never eaten it. I've just only ever pulled it. I just saw you were on. I just wanted to drop in and say good morning to everybody. Hope all is well and be safe. Oh, thanks, you. Thank you. Wow, I can't talk. Thank you, Sarah Boss. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. So, chickweed, it can also be used as to help stomach, and you can make a lotion out of it. If you have tired or inflamed eyes, you can use it. It's very interesting. I didn't know that. There's also leeks, which they consider an old-fashioned vegetable, and I like onions and leeks and stuff like that because they can grow in a cold environment, and it gets cold here, really cold here. So, and then I have, when did I plant? I planted that little miniature bok choy, from Baker Creek, and that seriously it lasted all winter. It never died. So it could really last some hard, cold winters. This person in this book says that they cook leeks with Jerusalem artichokes and early dandelion buds. I don't know. Have you guys just straight up ate a dandelion? I've never eaten a dandelion. So I can't tell you anything about that. Yeah, free food for your animals for sure. Fried? Really? Are they good? Seriously? I can't bring myself to eat them or do anything with them. I am a really picky eater, guys. Really picky eater. And I'm a weird eater. And my husband thinks I'm a weird eater as well. I will never finish a plate. I will never eat something that doesn't look right. So if it's not completely proportionate, I won't eat it. And I love how they talk about I don't know if you guys seen on Facebook the advertisements for the misfit foods. I would have a huge problem with that. It's a mental problem that I have, but I couldn't eat the misfit foods. I have a huge issue with that. They taste like morels. Interesting. I don't really like mushrooms. I'd be willing to try it. And by the way, I'm really proud of myself because we have cherry tomatoes in the garden, and I tried to eat one. I just couldn't eat it. I did pop it in my mouth. I don't like tomatoes, period. But I at least try them. And dandelion jelly tastes like honey. Interesting. I'll have to try it someday. I don't spray my yard or anything, so it wouldn't be a problem to harvest stuff like that. I did consider one year, you know how Baker Creek has all those different, they have all these different types of foods and stuff, all these, vegetables that you can grow. And it's different varieties. Well, one of them was the pink dandelion. And I was considering getting that and letting that grow in my yard. I thought that would be really cool to have pink flowers too. So making a pink dandelion jelly would be kind of cool. So, okay. So this book is really, really interesting. There's just a lot of cool things in here, and it talks about planning towards the zodiac and different stuff like that. There's just all different kinds of really cool old school information in here. Talks about cucumber beetles. Which I should have read this. I didn't get this far. But I hate cucumber beetles. So anyway, if you want to get this book. It's called Sleeping with the Sunflower. I know Howie talked about it, and I was very, very interested in it. I'm into stuff like this. So that's really interesting. It talks about different sprays and stuff that you can use. Actually, this book is just really good in general. So I really, oh my gosh. I've heard of people using that. That's so crazy. It says harmless herbal pesticides. One of them is nicotine, which I've heard of people using. But I didn't think, I don't know, you just don't hear it very often. Nicotine, it's a form of tobacco dust, was widely used in the mid-19th century against aphids on chrysanthemums. For household plants bothering by aphids, some gardeners blew tobacco smoke through a foliage. In an orchard, nicotine, the primary alkaloid of tobacco, is helpful in controlling codling moths, aphids, and caterpillars on fruit trees. That's really, really interesting, guys. The only problem is like, where could you find tobacco that is organic? Because I don't want to use a tobacco that is filled with a bunch of crap. And that's why one year I considered growing my own tobacco, because I wanted to make my own. That's good to know. I didn't know it has a virus. There's other ones in here, but I've never heard of them before. So I don't really know what to talk about with them. Latin American shrub against codling moths, aphids, and Japanese beetles. So this book is really, really interesting, and I plan on using it to my best ability. I like gardening the old style, what they consider old style. There's a recipe in here for carrot pineapple dream cake. What? Okay, so my husband made me aware. And not that I've been sleeping under a rock. Like, I know that they use Roundup on fields and stuff. So my husband made me aware yesterday that they spray the ground for Roundup. They use Roundup resistant wheat, plant the wheat. They spray the wheat with Roundup again, because what it does then is it kills the wheat to make it dry faster. And then after they pull the wheat, they spray it with Roundup again to dry it, to make sure it doesn't get mold on it. And I thought that was like extremely strange. Like, why are we using so much Roundup for everything? It's like the be all for it all. And that can't be right. And I thought that was very interesting that they're using it to kill the wheat. I don't know. It just sounds asinine to me. Okay, so all right, they're going to be talking about in this book the doubling up on root crops. They're talking about carrots, beets, onions, salsify. Has anybody ever had salsify? You don't want your wheat to get moist. Well, thank you, Kathy Bates. Oh, it's frustrating what people think and what they do with their food. And I don't know. I'm a very logical thinker. And I think very logically, so I don't understand people's views on things sometimes. So I have someone that I know who has a heck of a time growing a garden. They see our garden and they want to know what we're doing. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just putting poop on my garden. I'm doing a little more research to put biochar and stuff down. I'm not doing anything really that much. And in fact, I haven't fertilized my garden at all this year. It is what it is. So I'm a little confused as to what people are doing or what they're thinking when they plant a garden. We typically use rabbit poop, and if not, we're using our chicken poop, which chicken poop, it's hot, so you have to wait a year before you can use it. Rabbit poop, you don't, so that worked out really well in years past. But the person that I was getting my rabbit poop from, they had like 600 rabbits because they bred them. They no longer breed rabbits. So, they no longer breed rabbits, so I don't have a place to get massive amounts of rabbit poop anymore. So at the end of the summer, we're going to be getting a rabbit, so I can use that on my garden. I'd rather use rabbit poop more than anything. The only problem is that they don't really chew up seeds very well. So because they don't chew up seeds, I end up getting like alfalfa and that kind of crap growing in my beds because that's what they eat, So, yeah, I would like to do that. However, I don't trust it. I don't trust horse manure. I don't trust cow poop unless I had the cow myself or I had the horse myself, because there can be herbicides. And a lot of people don't know that. And I've seen a lot of people kill their gardens because of that. What they did is, like, they knew somebody that had horses and they used horse poop on their garden, and that the horse ate straw or hay or whatever, and it had herbicides on it. Well, it passes through the horse's system. And then what happens is it goes directly on the garden, and that herbicide is not killed off. So then you are putting that directly on your garden, and you're killing your beds. And then people are like, why can't this grow? Well, because it has a ton of herbicides in the poop, because it doesn't get dissolved in the horse's stomach. It passes through the horse. Go to a local farmer and ask for cow poop. If they use cows for dairy, that is the best. That's very interesting. And yeah, I have a couple of dairy farms in this county that I could go to if I really wanted to. But I don't, my garden does look huge, but I don't really have a whole lot of space for manure and stuff like that. So I am using my chicken poop for right now. So, okay, it talks about planting peas in the March, which I do every year. It talks about broccoli. This book is really interesting. So if you can, get it. It's called Sleeping with the Sunflower. And I thought I would talk about it more because honestly, I hadn't really had a whole lot of time. I haven't had a whole lot of time to actually read this book. So I started reading it little by little. And it's very interesting. Talks about beekeeping, all different kinds of cool stuff. So get the book. If they use cows for dairy, oh, I already read that. Sorry. Oh, I'm tired, guys. And I got a lot to do today. I have to clean the house before Fred comes home. So, thank you guys for coming in. It's 42 minutes. I'll be on a little bit longer, but I want to seriously thank you for coming in and supporting my channel and giving me a thumbs up. My channel has changed quite a bit, and I'm changing for the better, but I've changed the way I do things. So I really appreciate it. I'm trying to be more streamlined and more user friendly, I guess you would say. So I really appreciate it. But thank you for letting me know about the nicotine with the viruses. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I agree there. You're never too old to learn, for sure. And I have been learning quite a bit. With not only this book, but just in general. I definitely want to get my Master Gardeners, so hopefully I can get that here before too long so I can do more stuff. But I realize I belong to a garden club now, and I realize how much I have learned over the past 5 years of just gardening and doing more stuff with my garden and learning stuff on my own. I'm just surprised with how much knowledge I've actually gained, because some people have no idea. And I was at garden club this last month, and they were talking about nasturtium and how you can eat it. Well, when you go to garden club, somebody provides that day, they provide like the dessert or your drink for the club for that day. So somebody made dessert, and then they put nasturtium on top of all the desserts. It's cool. However, I don't think they've ever eaten nasturtium because it's very hot and peppery. So to have that on a dessert is very interesting. I think they just learned that it was edible, so they just put it on top of the desserts. And I was telling everybody about it, so people were eating it, and then like people didn't know that you can use it as a companion in the garden for pests. So that's just something that I learned in my tomatoes love, or is it called Carrots Love Tomatoes book. I just learned that in that book just from reading, about companion gardening. And a lot of people don't know about that. Or people use the marigolds and they only do it one time and they expect it to just take the bugs away. They don't plant it more than once. So just little stuff like that I've learned throughout the years that has helped my garden tremendously. Hey, good morning, Green Granny. Thank you for coming in. So much has changed throughout the years, really? A lot? Yeah, I would think the way the industrial farming has changed quite a bit throughout the um, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Till now, I think that has changed a lot. But I was pleased to know when I visited Lancaster, it's kind of like when I went to Lancaster with my mom on a mini vacate, like a mini weekend getaway. And I wasn't expecting to go on a farm tour of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I knew we were going to a dairy facility to watch them milk cows, but I didn't know that it was just going to be this giant thing. Like, it was very interesting. And so I learned about their agricultural, what they're doing in Lancaster, and how they are like when they're farming, they're leaving. They're putting a cover crop on and they're leaving it in the ground. They're not tilling it back up. And so it's helped with the erosion. And they basically, the Chesapeake River Bay and stuff like that it's not as polluted as it once was because they don't have to worry about the runoff anymore. So I thought that was really, really interesting. Yeah, it seems like when did the dangerous sprays come about? It makes you wonder, when did they come about? Why did they come about? It may cause mooing. Yeah, I don't understand all the dangerous chemicals and stuff like that. And actually, it makes me wonder a little bit. Then this is just my theory on it. It's not set in stone. It makes you wonder if it's biological warfare. Um, every year we see a new bug or something new that is attacking our crops. So it just makes you wonder if it's released on purpose, like the Chinese lanternfly. There is no killing that unless you kill it, like step on it and kill it. So it just makes you wonder if those things are being released on purpose. Because the government got involved. Yeah, unfortunately. That's one thing the government really, I think there needs to be regulations on certain things to protect people, but the government doesn't need to be involved 100% on things. Yeah. Well, they're talking about now how you just can't get away from GMOs and you can't get away from the herbicides and the pesticides. You just can't get away from it at all. Every food that you eat is genetically modified. And now they're starting to put labels on things like my goldfish that I buy for my son. They say this is genetically modified right on it. And it's really annoying. I don't know. And can you really trust organic foods in the grocery store? Now they're saying that the organic regulations are just as bad. Government would pay farmers not to plant a percentage of their fields. Yeah. Why is that? It's kind of like, okay, there for a while I was really into diamonds. Probably throughout my entire 20s. I wanted to work for De Beers and I wanted to be a diamond counter. I was really, really into diamonds. I love stones. That's a lot of things that people don't know about me, I guess, is I love all different kinds of stones and I'm really into geology and all that kind of stuff. So, anyway, De Beers has a safe, right? A giant safe where they keep all the diamonds. And I mean, think about it. They hold the world in their hands as far as diamonds are concerned. So they hold the diamonds in the safe and they don't mine them. They keep them in their safe and then they control the diamond market, basically. So if diamonds went up, it's because they didn't release any. And if diamonds are going down, it's because they released a ton of them. So they basically hold the market in their hands. And that is the same with food. So if you can control the farmer, say for instance, they didn't plant a percentage of their crops for that year, or they didn't use a percentage of their fields, it's the same thing. You're basically controlling the market. You're controlling the market of food, which people need food. So people don't necessarily need diamonds, but people need food to live. So you control that and you control society, right? So you can control everybody, and that kind of sucks. So what we're doing is we're growing our food, right? So we're trying to put that part of the market out of business by growing our own food. So by growing my own food, I'm a rebel, right? I didn't need to buy peas last year. So I'm helping with that and by not buying. And it sucks that it has to be that way. Too much food makes costs go down. Yep. And a government loses. They want us hungry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's because they don't care. That's why you think about it. And I don't want to go too deeply into it because I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube because I don't know really. I mean, you could, on YouTube, you could talk about this, but then they could change their policy like that. And then before you know it, they're closing your channel down because they can do whatever they want. So I'm really careful about what I say. But yeah, so it makes the food makes costs go down, too much food, and then the government loses and they do want us hungry. I think that's exactly why they have not done anything with the homeless population. And I have a lot of opinions about that, but you see a lot of people that are homeless or don't have any food, and then they get involved in drugs, whatnot. So I think people that are living on the streets is a government problem. That's just my opinion about it. It's not like a lot of people are confused. They're thinking, oh, a lot of these people are mentally ill and that's why they're on the street. I don't think so. I think they want people hungry. The more people that are hungry, yeah. It's just my opinion about it. Oh, Lord. Thanks, Kathy Bates, for talking to me about it because sometimes it really bothers me. And I can't talk to normal people about this. People see my garden and they're thinking, oh, you have a really nice garden. They don't understand what I'm really doing. So. Yeah. And this is what really irritates me, right? there's a lot of people out there, they're like, oh, I really want to stop homelessness. I'm going to donate $1 million to the homeless blah, blah, blah fund. So basically, you are giving the government money to launder. So, I don't know. Like I said, I have my opinions about it. Yeah, I'm definitely not a normal person. For sure. No normalcy here. And yeah, and I don't know. I think a lot of people just don't want to talk about it. They want to live their lives and not talk about it. But I think some subjects need to be talked about. So who all is still here other than Kathy Bates? Yes, I'm drinking an energy drink. I am so exhausted and I got so much to do after this. If you want to help the homeless, go work in the shelters or buy a sandwich for them. Yes, that's the truth. I lived in a city that had homeless people like on every corner. And I would always buy them a sandwich. I would never, give them money or anything. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for sticking it out and listening to me ramble. I appreciate it. But yeah, so growing your own food is not just I'm growing my own food. It's more of a statement. It's saying I'm going to grow my own food because I'm tired of your crap. I'm tired of you poisoning me. I'm tired of you trying to control what I'm doing. So it's more than what it looks like. Working on roasting tomatoes and packing in olive oil for the fridge. 1 jar of dill pickle summer squash and 1 jar of dill pickles. Doctor is calling me in an hour for blood work results. Oh, well, good luck with that. And I'm so glad you got to preserve some stuff. That's great. Yeah. Yeah. No. They don't need any more money. Yeah. It seems like in every aspect of government, in every aspect, and it doesn't matter. It's in this country. If it's in this country, if it's in another country, in every aspect of government, it seems like it's corrupt. They're loitering money. They have their hands in drug dealing. They have their hands in the food market. It seems like in every aspect of government, and I'm not talking just about the United States, it seems like it's all corrupt. All of it is. It's really, really annoying. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can vote all you want, but what is that going to do? You think that you're actually changing things, but I mean, people can change the vote any way they want to. And that is the same in other countries as well. I think it was, what was it, in Russia? I mean, they change the vote all the time in other countries. So it sucks. It's corrupt, and there's nothing you can do about it. All you can do is survive. Your pickled summer squash sounds really good. And I don't know, man. I'm just really weird about certain pickled things. I did pickle kohlrabi, but I don't know what it tastes like. I haven't ate it yet, but I did a couple jars just to see. We'll see how that's going to turn out. My pickles, by the way, are so good. I've been eating them a lot. Um, they're so good. I have a pickle recipe. So, Shawnee, if you want it, let me know. I'll send it to you or something. I have a pickle recipe and it is so good. It calls for 2 cloves of garlic and a cut up portion of an onion. And I got it. It's from. Sorry, I was drinking a carbonated drink, so now I'm burping. It was one of my great grandma's recipes that she pulled out of a newspaper from like 1940. So it's an old recipe, and I have a ton of those old recipes. So I think I have your email, and I'll give you the correct proportions and stuff like that. But it's freaking delicious. It's probably some of the best, and you don't have to process the pickles. That's a rebel thing anyway. A lot of people like, okay, so when I first made pickles for the first time, I did it by myself. I was so proud. I cut them all up. I didn't have a machine to cut them. I cut them by hand, and I put them in the jars. I packed them in, and I used hot brine and poured it over there. And then I water bathed them because I thought that's what you do. And then on some of the Mrs. Wages packets, by the way, I love Mrs. Wages. Right now, there's like a war in the Rebel canners about Mrs. Wages, and I don't know why. They're like, oh, it's too salty. I'm like, dude, it's pickles. Pickles are supposed to be kind of salty and vinegary. That's the whole idea of a pickle. So I like the Mrs. Wages packets. I think they teach people how to can, and I think that's really cool. Like, you buy a Mrs. Wages packet and you bring it home, you read the directions, and it makes it so easy for people to learn how to can, and I really like that idea. I think it's super cool. I think Rebel canners should have their own Mrs. Wages packets. I think that Rebel canners should like start creating or working with a company to make their own spices and have their own, make it the Rebel way, or something like that. I think that would be so cool, right? Hey, Marshmallow Man, can kind of see you. But yeah, so the recipe's really cool. You got to check it out. But once you process them and you pull them out of the water, they're usually soft. You eat them a week later and they're so soft, they're so nasty, right? I've had that happen to me. I don't know how many times. And I made bread and butter ones for Mrs. Wages, and they were sweet. They were good. However, they were soft, and I don't like a soft pickle. Who in here likes a soft pickle? Not me. I like a crisp one that you bite into and it's like it snaps like a carrot. That's what I like. So anyway, this recipe you don't process, and honestly, you don't need to process. Think about it. Like, once you cook those, it makes them like floppy. It makes them not a pickle like you want. So I don't do that. You pour the hot brine over them, and as long as they're in that brine, they're okay. As long as you sterilize, as long as you wash your jars, and I learned that from Tammy, you don't say the word sterile because it's not technically sterile. You're not in a sterile room in a surgery operation room, or, you're not, it's not going to be 100% sterile, but you're doing everything you can to keep everything neat and clean. So you wiped things down, you washed your jars, you washed your lids, and everything's good to go. So as long as you're doing that and those steps, and as long as you have those pickles in that brine, there's not going to be an issue because the brine is keeping it from aging. Now, I don't know if anybody in here has eaten a pickle for that has been 20 or 30 years old. I can't say that it's going to be that great, and I can't say that there's not going to be any weirdness growing in that jar. But I would say for at least a couple years, you're good as long as it's under that brine. I have 2 bushel baskets of summer squash and need to learn how to pickle them. Interesting. I have no idea what to use, and I don't know what would be good with summer squash. I don't know if maybe like a bread and butter kind of thing would be good, making them a little bit sweeter because it is squash. I don't know. And I can't imagine using garlic with squash. So I don't know. I would definitely look up some recipes and see what you can find.
Do you have squash at Thanksgiving or Christmas?
No, not typically.
Okay. Because I was gonna say if it was something like you have it at like Thanksgiving or Christmas, you could do that kind of thing if there's a thing, right? So
Yeah. You can use any cute recipes, but then they get mushy. Yeah. See, that's the thing that's the thing with pickles. You gotta be careful with what you're using. Just don't process it. You know, right now all of my jars are in the fridge because I like a good cold pickle. So all of mine are in the fridge, but you don't have to put them in the fridge as long as they're in their cool, dark place and they're in that brine. You're good to go.
in the first year of canning, what not the best cans. You know, I found out that like carrots, beets. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I found out that like okay, exactly.
I think you have your email address, Shawnee Shav. I will send you a picture of that recipe. You use cumin. Interesting. Really? And they didn't taste like chili? Yes, I have a second fridge and I have a second freezer. I got a second freezer in the garage for a surplus of tomatoes, and we'll plug it in. It didn't taste like chili. That's very interesting because I love cumin and I'll use it on anything. I love it. It gives it that Mexican flair that I love, especially in food and just in general. It gives it a good Mexican flair, and sometimes I'll put it in scrambled eggs. And it's really good in chili too. It gives it that good like chili flavor. Love cumin. Tried to grow it one year. I suck at growing it. It was real fragile. Didn't do very good at that. But yeah, so I have a second freezer in my garage, and then I have a refrigerator downstairs, but my husband refuses to plug it in because our electric bill has been so crazy. So, and it's not crazy because of the air conditioners. It was crazy before that. And so we started unplugging things, thinking that it would help the bill. And there is still something on that bill that is making our electric bill skyrocket, and we don't know what it is. Thinking it's either the hot water heater or it's the actual refrigerator that we have that's upstairs here. So we're in the process of trying to figure that out so we can either get another one or unplug it. I'm gonna figure it out. But yeah, I have a huge chest freezer in my basement. And then I also have a little like mini deep freeze in my garage. And I only plug that in during planting season, just so I have extra space. Right now, I wish I had that other fridge downstairs plugged in because my entire bottom of my fridge is pickles. So I got pickles everywhere. Oh, sorry, guys. Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't know I could do that. We bought a thing. We haven't used it yet, but it's a thing that you plug into the outlet and then you plug whatever it is into that thing that's in the outlay, and it will read it for you. We bought one of those, but we haven't used it yet to figure it out. We have to use it on, I'm pretty sure it's a hot water heater. I guarantee it is. That hot water heater has been here since my grandpa was here. And that thing is at least 30 or 40 years old. And so I think it's a hot water heater. It's just a hot water heater right now is super expensive. Terry Ferreira just commented on one of my videos. Container gardening here. Can't even imagine. Cool. I have like a mixed selection in my garden. I have container gardening, and then I also have stuff that I have planted in the ground as well. So I do two things. So next year things will be changed about a little bit, and where the tomatoes are right now is going to get a huge makeover. We're going to put a lot of poop in the ground and a lot of fertilizers and stuff. So that, you know, because it's been a while since we did that. We used to put an egg. This year we didn't put an egg in the hole because last year I had raccoons attack my tomatoes. So we usually put an egg in every hole. We didn't do that this year. So yeah, I want to do that. We should do that soon. It's not good to let the freezer set not running. Plug it in for a day and then unplug, then repeat in a few days. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, we haven't used it since last year. It's just sitting in the garage. But when we get a surplus of tomatoes, what I'll do is I'll cut and core them. I'll put them in freezer bags, and then I'll just put them in the freezer outside. And then that way it's not taking up space in my regular freezer. And that usually will last us till like the end of October, and till I'm ready to can my tomatoes. By the way, the freezing method on tomatoes is the method that everybody should be using. It is so easy, unless you want like tomatoes right now. The freezer method is the best, especially if you have a giant thing of tomatoes, which I usually do. I think every 3 days I was pulling out like 60 pounds of tomatoes out of the garden last year, every like 3 to 4 days. So I had so many tomatoes, they were like coming out my ears. So that was like the best method, because then that way they can stay in that freezer and I don't have to worry about canning them every like 2 to 3 days or whatever, every week. And I can just do it all at once. I also use I have like an electric roaster, and I put all my tomatoes in there, and I'll leave it in there for a couple days, and I'll even throw in carrots and onions and peppers and throw it in there, and then I'll put them and have a KitchenAid that has a strainer in the top of it, KitchenAid mixer. It's an attachment. I'll shove that stuff through there when it's been cooked, and I'll make my juice and my tomato sauce that way. And it's delicious. Very good. And the stuff that I made my tomatoes with last year, the tomatoes, oh my God, it was so good. I would compare it to like, it tasted like ragu or something. It was so delicious and so pure. It was so good. And we rarely used any sugar in our tomatoes. It was just so good. But thank you for the tip about the freezer. I'll definitely do that. We've had that freezer, I don't know how long. When Dustin's mom moved from Cleveland to here about 10 years ago, she gave us that freezer. So we've had that freezer for a very long time. It's just like one of those little chest freezers that you can put in an apartment or something. It's real small, so... Oh, I feel bad that Marshmallow Man couldn't be here. He needs to get better internet, for sure. Okay, so can you guys believe that it is August 3rd already? This summer is over. And oh, he messaged me. My reception is bad where I am at work. Sorry, Marshmallow Man. Oh. Sorry, I had my ringer off. Summer is, yeah, it's going by so freaking fast, y'all. And you know what? This is how I know it's the end of summer. Sorry, my face is really itchy. This is how I know that it's the end of summer. I was driving the other day. There's several different species of goldenrod. There's the tall kind, and then there's the little teeny kinds, and you see them all over the place. I saw goldenrod for the first time, and I'm like, no! I mean, I love goldenrod. It's beautiful, and it's beautiful in the summertime, and I love it when it's a mix of the purple flowers and the goldenrod. It's so beautiful, but it's just telling me that it's going to be fall. Oh, that's what it's telling me. Oh, when you start seeing goldenrod everywhere, it's like, no! Hey, Garden State Gardener. Thanks for coming in, honey. By the way, you guys, Garden State Gardener is providing the prizes for sheepies and the people who participated and showing me their videos for the giant veg competition. Super exciting. And I'm going to make sure that everybody that participated in the Giant Veg Challenge is also going to get a packet of those long carrots. So I'm super excited about that as well. I'm hoping Sheepy gets his because he is in the UK, so it's hard to send seeds over there. But anyway, yeah, when you start seeing goldenrod, it's usually, that's the end all be all. And I really don't want the winter to come. Not yet anyway. So, all right, guys. It's getting to be, yeah, it's an hour and 17 minutes over, and I got to get to cleaning the house. So I want to thank you guys for being here today. And I know, like, my chats have been slow, and it's because it's summertime. I always have this issue in the summer. My chats are slow, and it's no big deal. So in the fall, things will start picking up, and we'll start turning around. So thank you guys for sticking it out with me, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Kathy Bates. I really enjoy, thank you, Kathy Bates, one, for being a member, but I really love you and I really enjoy you. So thank you so much. You offer so much to the community here. So I really appreciate it. Yeah, summer is going by so fast. I'm just, but I'm excited because this weekend I'm going to a concert in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh? Yeah, in Pittsburgh, close to it. Not quite there. It's like an hour and a half away. So I'm excited about that. I haven't been to a concert in a long time. And so I am ready. Rock and roll. Really? I let everybody know in the chats. Oh. That's okay, hey, Guardian, 1, thank you for being a member of my channel. 2, I love you guys. And it doesn't matter how busy we get. If I don't talk to you, you're still my friend. It's just our lives, we're adults. We're busy. Things happen. I would, however, like to get together and do a video chat sometime. But I know we're busy. So it doesn't mean that we're not friends. Our lives are different. So, but I love you to death. And thank you so much for sticking it out and being a member of my channel as well. And the same goes to you, Garden State Gardener. But okay, guys, I gotta go. I got so much to do, including vacuuming and all of that stuff. My aunt said that she was going to show up here this afternoon because she wanted some zucchini. And I seriously have not seen her in like a year. So I got to make sure my house is kind of straightened up. But thank you guys for coming in. I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry if it was kind of slow in the beginning. I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about. And I kind of went on a rant about food. But thank you guys so much. And I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the content that I'm providing, because I've been working my ass off at providing really good content for my channel and stuff like that. And my husband, food rants are the best. Yeah. And my other thing is, Dustin just put out, he loves peppers. He loves hot peppers. And he just put out a pepper video. So if you can, go over there and watch it and leave a comment, because he puts a lot of effort into his peppers and talking about them and stuff like that. So, and they're extremely hot peppers. They're peppers that I wouldn't even touch. Like, they're extremely hot. Oh my God, 18 months you've been a member? Holy moly crackanoli. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. I am so grateful. And I'm grateful to have real friends in my life. So thank you so much. 26 months. This is insane. Everyone's great. Eagle, thank you. Outdoor Eagle. Thanks for being here. Okay. Oh, Rebel's going to call me. I feel special. I know. I can't believe it's. And you live in my state. One of these times we're going to have to meet up. I don't think you live that far from me. We'll have to figure it out, Kathy Bates. 4 months. Thank you so much. Oh, you guys are so awesome. I love this group. Thank you. You make me feel special. All right, y'all. Well, it was good to see you. Thank you. And Sleeping with a Sunflower. Get this book. I found it on Amazon for less than $5. It was shipped to me. So if you can, get this book. It's really cool. And it talks about folklore and stuff like that, but there's a lot of truth to this. And it coincides with the Farmer's Almanacs and stuff like that. So read it. It's fun. I'm not finished with it yet, but I was just going over some of the stuff that I've already read. So yeah, she should have came to the meetup. Yeah, she could have stayed here. All right, guys. I'll see y'all in my next live, which should be Friday night, I think. I'm not sure. My husband is home for 5 days, and we got a lot of work to do. So it all depends. If I'm not live, there will be videos, and I'll do premieres. So, all right, guys. We'll see you next time, and y'all have a good day. Make it a good one, and grow your own food, for God's sakes. I don't care what it is. If you like tomatoes, grow a patch of tomatoes. If you like corn, grow some corn. Just make sure it's the good heirloom corn. And we will see you all next time. I love y'all. Bye.